Hi, my name is Laurel and I'm the floral manager at the Flower Mound Market Street. And I wanted to show you a couple quick ways to make some homecoming bouquets. The first one that we're gonna do is a simple one with just 6 roses and baby's breath. I have some peach roses here that are kind of open and I love how big they are. They're gonna look great. A little trick, if you want to open up your roses a little bit more, turn them upside down, and if you give them a quick little flick back and forth, a little twist, they're gonna open up, and you can take your fingers and actually a little bit and continue to widen up the center, and so you have some nice big ones. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Roses of Baby's Breath has become kind of a pretty popular simple design that we have a lot of our guests liking. I have some Baby's Breath right here that I'm just gonna start taking little bundles and taking a rose, putting them together in my hand. A couple more little pieces kind of around the rose, and this rose is gonna be the center of my design. I'm gonna do another one right here. Then I'm gonna move over here towards the back, add a little bit more Baby's Breath, and we're gonna work in 1, 2, I think that needs a little bit of Baby's Breath kind of in between. I'm gonna stick that in there. Make sure the back ones stay up. We're gonna add just a little bit more to the back. And we're gonna add the last one right here. So we have a design with our 6 roses. I think a little bit more. I like them separated out. So there's, I don't know, a little bit of filler between them. And there we are, pretty simple. A couple things you can have around the house. You don't have to have a ton of floral supplies. I'm gonna just use a quick little piece of Scotch tape, and we're gonna just go around the stems real quick once, and we just need it to stick to itself while we get a piece of ribbon around it. So I have some ribbon right here. We're gonna cut a piece off, and if you don't have any pins, I'm gonna show you an easy way to tie it off and really and not need them. I'm gonna start with my hand that's holding the bouquet, and I'm gonna have a tail right there with the ribbon, and then I'm gonna wrap down about 2 wraps, and then I'm gonna come back up, and I'm gonna bring my ribbon around to meet this tail, and we're gonna tie off just a quick knot. It's a little challenging to do one-handed, and you can honestly put this bouquet down on your counter wherever you're working, and it'll be just fine. And I'm gonna tie a quick knot, just like that, and I'm gonna trim the ends. You can keep the ends long if you want a little tail on it. I like to cut them at an angle just because I think it looks nicer and they don't fray. And there you go, simple homecoming bouquet. The other thing we need to do is trim off the stems, and honestly, you could use a pair of kitchen scissors. They're gonna work just fine to cut across that. And then to keep them fresh until it's time to go, time for pictures, you're just gonna stick them in some water, and they're ready. Oh, we're gonna stick them in some water until it's time to go, and they're ready to go. The next design I want to show you is making a prom bouquet with one of our pre-made bouquets. This is called a Fiesta bouquet. That's the name of it. We carry this one like all the time, and I think it's a fun, bright color palette I think it would be great with like an emerald green dress, a hot pink dress, a peach, an orange. I think any of that would look really cute. So when you're prepping your flowers, when you have a bunch that are like coming out of the bouquet, you want to take off some of the bottom petals or leaves on your greenery, because those are just gonna get in the way. And so we usually strip off the bottom 3. And then we like to sort of divide our flowers out a little bit so they're easy to get to and to grab. Some flowers have a ton of foliage on them that needs to come off, and some don't have very much at all. So these roses have a little bit that needs to come off. We're gonna start those, get our little pile of roses going, pile of a few little carnations. I think this is a fun set of colors to make a bouquet out of. There's a greenery piece. Okay, so I have a couple of roses, I have some stock, a couple Gerber daisies, some carnations, and some spray roses. I am gonna start, I usually like to start with a rose, and then I'm gonna add, since this rose is pink, I'm gonna add an orange to it. Because I like to have my colors separated out a little bit. Then I'm gonna add a pink stalk, and I love this little hypericum berry, but sometimes on stems of flowers, the bottom petals or berries need to come off. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna add, like on this little guy is kind of low. I'm gonna peel him off because he's just gonna be in the way. And then I have that. I have 3 pinks and an orange. Now to keep it a little balanced, I'm gonna add a Gerber daisy. I'm gonna add over here a hot pink rose. And then I only have 2 pieces of stock. So I have one here. I don't want them right next to each other. I'm gonna stick this one over here on this side. I have, let's see, a carnation I'm gonna stick over here because I haven't used one of those big carnations yet. Then I'm gonna come in back here on the spray rose. This one's a little low. It's gonna just be in the way as we're putting this bouquet together. I'm gonna peel that off. And then I'm gonna use this little set of spray roses over here on this side. This is kind of sinking down, so I'm gonna go in and pull it up. I'm gonna pull up this rose a little bit. I have just a few more stems. This one's gonna be a little bit smaller, but kind of colorful. So I love this little hypericum berry. I'm gonna stick him over here. We like that little berry texture in here. I have a couple more carnations. I have a couple of 2 oranges right together. I'm gonna go in and add a carnation in hot pink, so those 2 colors are not right up against each other. Over here I have some pink, so I'm gonna add this other orange Gerber daisy. And as I'm looking at it, let's see, where else we're gonna add a little bit of hot pink carnations on that side, and we're gonna add another one right here because we don't want those big Gerber daisies right next to each other. Now I have some greenery, and we can always add greenery all around the edges. We can add a little bit, I like a little bit kind of sticking up. It kind of breaks up the bright colors of this one. And then I usually keep one flower out till I get all the greenery and everything set to see if there's a hole or a spot that needs something. So I do have 1 stem of spray roses left. So I have a couple, let's see, we need some greenery back here and some greenery back here. And I'm kind of liking this. I think this is totally, totally fun. So, and right here, if we can see that it's not quite rounded out. And this last little stem that I have saved, I'm gonna just tuck in right there. And now we have a round bouquet. And then actually in the back, pull that little guy down so we can see the hypericum berry. I'm gonna pull up this stalk and this carnation because we like things at different different levels in our design. Okay. And I think that is gonna be a super cute prom bouquet or homecoming bouquet, because we're not to prom yet, we're at homecoming. So I have some floral tape I'm just gonna tape it off with, or you can use Scotch tape or whatever you have around the house. If your dad has a zip tie on his workbench in the garage, I think those work amazing as well. So with this floral tape, I'm gonna go around a couple of times, give it a good secure taping, and then I'm just gonna cut off the bottom. And then we'll wrap it here in a little bit. Let me, here's that one. I chose not to use this leaf because I thought it was a little big and a little wide for our bouquet design. And that's okay. You don't have to use everything that comes in the bouquet, and you don't have to use everything that you, every single stem if it doesn't work right in your bouquet. So the last thing I want to show you is taking a couple of different types of flowers and making a bouquet just with a couple of different bunches. I have right here are some garden roses, which we carry all the time. These are one of my most favorite flowers. These are anemones. They're very pretty and I think girly, and we love using them in design, especially in bouquets. I have also some calla lilies. I love calla lilies as well. I think they give a nice straight design. And they're a good line flower. The other thing I have a little bit of eucalyptus. I'm going to show you how to use this around the edges of your bouquet. And I have some wax flower. Wax flower is another filler flower similar to baby's breath. It just has a little different look. It has a little, almost like a little cup-shaped flower, and it has some little, I would call it like grass-like greenery on it. And I like the way this looks as well. So here we're gonna start, we're gonna just take off our leaves. Garden roses have a really large head on them already, so we don't need to give them a twist upside down to make them any bigger, I don't think, because they're fairly large as it is. I want to get rid of all of the foliage on the roses. The little anemones have a little collar of leaves, but and sometimes we take it off and it's kind of just so minor that we just don't worry about it. And there's our wax flower and our eucalyptus. So sometimes on the outside of roses, they have what's called a guard petal. And sometimes we like the way they look and sometimes we don't. This has kind of a weird little, I don't know, discoloration in it. And I'm just gonna pull that off because I think we'll like it better that way. These little guard petals can come off as well. So we'll do that as we go. I think I'm going to start with one of our pretty garden roses, and I'm going to add a little piece of wax flower to it. The next thing I'm going to use is one of our purple callas, which I think will be so pretty. Actually, on second thought, I think I am going to take this little collar of greenery off. It's just, sometimes it's just really big on these. And I love the way that looks. So we're going to add just a little bit more. Let's add another piece of wax flower. We're going to get ready to add another rose. So I have kind of a triangle going. I'm going to put a rose over here. It does have filler in between, so it's not quite butting up against the first garden rose I put in there. We're going to move up that little our anemone. I think we'll start we'll get a little calla lily right there. this guy we're gonna add right here. Then, let's see, we're gonna grab another garden rose. I think when you're making prom bouquets, I think 6 roses of any type is plenty, and it's gonna look good. We'll add a couple more pieces of our pretty wax flower. So we're getting, these two are right butted up against each other. We're gonna add an anemone right there, but I am gonna take off its little collar. And we're gonna add that right there. And we're getting a nice little shape. Let's add a little bit more wax flower. Like I said, sometimes the bottom stuff needs to come off. Let's see, I think I like a little wax flower right here on the bottom of this anemone. Okay. And then I think we could use another little piece of wax flower over here on this side. So I think we're gonna add a calla lily right over here. There's not one in this area. And then, let's see, a little bit more wax flower. So they're not butting up right against each other. So, I think in this area, we're gonna add down here on between these two, we're gonna add an anemone. And then over here on the bottom of this calla, we're gonna add another anemone. I kind of want those anemones, honestly, I mean, there's a lot of great focal flowers in here, but I love the way the anemones work. And anemones, their dark center wood is a color I would consider navy blue. There are not a lot of navy blue flowers at all, but I think the center of anemones are. And so, like, I think this would be a cute color if you had a navy blue dress for homecoming. I think it would be really pretty. So if you're looking at it, I have a couple of callas right here. We're sort of missing one over here. So I'm gonna stick this calla right here by this anemone. And we're honestly in a really good rounded shape. We could go, I have 2 stems of roses, a calla, and 1 anemone left. We could find a spot for them in this bouquet. So we can keep going. I think I'll add a little bit more wax flower. And let's see, probably this calla right here. And I was gonna try and slip in this garden rose right there. And then, let's see. I don't know if I'm liking that. Let's see if we could do, I think, one more maybe garden rose right down here. Now, if you ever feel like you're not quite round as we're making it, our greenery is gonna help us out with that. So we're gonna add some pretty eucalyptus to this. Have a couple pieces of wax flower that we're gonna just slip in because I think it's definitely adds and softens up our look a little bit. Okay, a couple more. I have 2 more little sprigs we could work in somewhere. Let's see, I think we'll just go right there. So let's start with eucalyptus and finish this off with eucalyptus. Eucalyptus usually has quite a few leaves on the stem. You're really only gonna need about the top 4 or 5. I'm gonna just take those off with my hand, and then, so I have a little bit, we're gonna just do a little collar of greenery all the way around. And you only need the top few. I'm gonna add this over here. we kind of want them going all the way around. So we're gonna get a few more and make sure we get all sides. It doesn't have to be a solid set, but we do want them here and there kind of worked in between the flowers. So I have another one going right here. Just use this top part, flip it right there. Give this a little twist with my hand so I can see, and we'll just get a few more pieces in here and we will be close to getting done with this last one. So this is definitely, I think, just a fun, sweet look. I am gonna take it and work a little tape around it a couple times. And I did not use all of my flowers. I could have found another spot for this, but I felt like it was fairly well balanced, so I'm just gonna put that in a little bud vase and just enjoy it. So here's my ribbon, some ribbon scissors here. Here we go. Okay, so let's go over this, how to do it without a pin. So I'm gonna, I have quite a bit cut on this because I want a little bit of a longer tail on it. So I'm gonna leave my tail out there, and then I'm gonna hold it with the hand that's holding the bouquet, and sometimes it's easier to sort of tip it sideways, and we're gonna go around. Usually we try and go around at least 2 times. So I've gone around 3 times right there, and then this, as I'm working my way up, I'm gonna go up here and meet the tail that I have, and then I'm gonna carefully lay it down. And I want to tie it in, I can tie it in a bow, I can tie it in a square knot, and this time I'll do a bow. So, anyways, so there's my bouquet, it's tied off, and it's time to cut the stems. So I don't like a lot of stems showing. I think when you're holding a bouquet, it should be maybe a ½ inch below where your hands would go. So we're gonna cut it about right there, and all right, and there is our prom bouquet. Thanks for watching.